Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Procurement, the only show you need to master the art of procurement. Let's go. So, welcome to today's episode, everyone. You will notice that I, Luke 1, have got a very deeper voice and I just sound generally all round sexier and more masculine. The reason for that is because I'm actually using a Luke 10 AI voice. So Luke 10 AI voice is available in stores now. Buy Luke 10 and get him to say anything that you want through AI for the low cost of $999.99. And today I introduced my co-host Luke 10 with a Luke 1 AI voice.
I see what we're doing here. Brilliant. So I ask. Well, I didn't even ask. I let you do the introduction. How nice of me. And I normally say to you, here's the guy with the best hair in the world, or the newest glasses going, and give you a nice little intro. And all you try and do is steal my identity.
Yeah. Right. Let's switch back now to our real voices. Right. 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Yeah,
that was
good.
Weird. Yeah.
Oh, I'm back.
We'll see how that comes out.
I suddenly feel cleaner and more muscular again. It was actually a full body swap, wasn't it?
Hang on. I've just checked under my t-shirt and now I've got a Kashmirian rug in there. It's got the hairiest chest in the world.
So that part transferred back with you, did it?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. That's the only thing in reverse. Right. What's going on today then?
So today we've got Loren on the podcast. She and I used to work together at a previous company. The interesting thing, well, there's many interesting things about Loren. One of which is that she has done a procurement degree, not only an undergraduate degree, but also a master's. Yeah, so Loren spent the time talking to us, and I was thinking at points during the episode that obviously we've got a proportion of our listeners is international to the UK. Some of them are non-native English speakers, and Loren, I wouldn't say she has a thick Welsh accent, but she does have a Welsh accent. So I want some feedback from the listeners on whether you were able to understand Loren.
So how do the listeners give us feedback, Luke?
Our email address is 2lukes1sip@gmail.com. That's the number 2, Luke's plural, the number 1, CIP@gmail.com. Alternatively, we do have Instagram, which I think is let's_talk_procurement. Or we have a text function. If you just look into the description of the episode, you will find it there.
Wow. Almost like you know that off by heart. I'm very impressed. I feel like that's what you bring to this podcast, and it's beautiful. So, listeners, good luck with the Welsh accent. Let us know how you get on. We found it all right, but obviously we kind of work close to each other. So I think if you're kind of further away and English isn't your first language, you're going to have a great time. So, any questions for Loren at the end as well, please do let us know, because we think she's got a lot of useful insights into what a procurement degree can do for you and kind of why it's beneficial. As we like to say, sit back, strap in, relax, and enjoy.
See you in a bit.
So, introducing today's guest. Hello and welcome, Loren. Thank you for joining us in our very virtual studio. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you for bearing with us. We're always unprofessionally professional, as we like to say.
If that, to be honest, yeah.
Luke, I'm kind of disappointed. I gave you the spotlight to kind of do your, you said you literally said to me yesterday, you want to step up to the plate. You want to take more of a leadership role in this podcast, and you can't even introduce your own guest.
Well, the way I wanted to do it was I wanted to make it as if we're directing a movie. So I wanted it to be like dramatic at the start and sort of just like fade in the chatter, and then we just like appear out of smoke or something.
You mean like a dim the light sort of thing? And it's like
Yeah.
introducing all the way from, I don't know,
Swansea.
Wales.
Oh, do I
Near
come in now?
It's like what's it called, the old western, like you kick the saloon doors down and you enter as some sort of like,
And Loren comes in with pistols and all sort of procurement knowledge, right?
yeah, that's it.
Can you see, Loren, why I don't let him do anything here? Like,
Yeah, it's a bit useless.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So-
So me and Loren used to work together at a previous company. That's how we know each other. But what I wanted most of the episode to talk about today, well, some of it anyway, is the fact that you did a procurement degree. So later in the episode, we're going to be revealing everything about this mysterious route.
So what you're saying is Loren reveals all? Because that sounds a bit shady.
Okay, now you phrased it like that.
Should we
Okay,
introduce the
might have to
listeners to
backtrack.
Loren a little bit? Should we get our favourite, what do you call it, the quick fire questions that you always prepare days in advance?
Yes, yeah, days in advance, and didn't just scramble on my laptop to find them. The first one's pretty easy, I think. Introduce yourself, so give us a little bit about your experience and what you're currently involved with.
Okay, so obviously, as you've said, I'm Loren. I've been in procurement, I'd say, for nearly 7 years now, including uni studies and being in the profession. What have I been involved with in regards to work-wise, or are we
Yeah,
including uni stuff now?
So are you public sector, private sector? Have you always been one or the other?
So I started in public sector for 2 years and then took the plunge to go to private for a year or two. Wasn't my cup of tea. I don't think I'm fit for the private sector. I don't think I'm hard enough for it. So I
Really?
did, yeah. It wasn't for me. It was more of a buy-in role, to be quite honest, which, yeah, I think it was too transactional for me. And I'm not saying that it was too easy. It was just a bit too cut and paste, same thing every week, kind of. And it was in an area so it was in like cyber security, which was way out of my depth, I think. I think it would have taken me a good 10, 15 years to learn the ropes for that industry. But yeah, so then I jumped back into public sector then, which I think I've been in this role now for, I want to say 3-4 years. Yeah.
Nice. It's interesting you say that about private sector being quite samey, because I think a lot of the complaints about some people, or maybe people that haven't worked in public sector, they would say that that's very process driven and very kind of just like,
and I wouldn't be able to
repetitive stuff.
disagree with that either.
Right.
You're basically making
So-
it all sound boring.
Yeah. Procurement is just repetitive. That's what you're saying.
That was regarding the buyer role I was in, so there wasn't too much procurement involved in that. But if we were going to say, is procurement in public sector boring? Absolutely not. I would say, like, I don't think I've done one procurement the same since being in public sector. Like, there's always been some sort of hurdle, some sort of, and I'm going to say issue, but in a good way, because it obviously shapes how you go into your next procurement, or if you're going to go for an interview. Issues and problems are always good for your scenarios when you go into an interview.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I guess it's kind of about the refinement of that. Everything you're doing is about learning and making it better for next time, right?
100%.
Cool. So next one's maybe a difficult question. Actually, after I say it now, you're going to think I'm being mean, but what's something interesting about yourself? Tell me something that's that isn't known by many people.
Oh, I'm boring. We had the Christmas do, our work's Christmas do recently, and someone did one of those quizzes. You have to give an anonymous fact about yourself, and then the team had to guess. But mine was really boring. Mine was, I got picked to play rounders for Wales, but this was back in school now, so I don't think it was like a proper adult team. I think it was like a junior team or something. But yeah, but I couldn't play because my parents took me on holidays.
They killed your
parents
dreams.
chose the sun.
Yeah,
chose the sun over your holiday,
Wales.
your career. Yeah.
So if there's any suppliers that are causing you issues, you just go with your bat and sort them out.
No, not quite. I don't own the bat now. I play netball now, but yeah, I'm not too good at that either.
What position?
Keeper, less running.
Keeper. Does that
Last
mean you're
line of
like 7
defence.
foot tall? Is
No,
that
I'm only 5'6", so it's awkward when I've got like a 6 foot shooter, because even when I'm on my tiptoes, I can't even reach them. So
I think that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Next question is sweet or savoury?
am I allowed to say both or no?
No.
Sweet.
Okay. Nice. And similar to that, if you could only have one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I feel like these are questions I need to prep for.
They are basic job interview questions, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to just play it safe and say Chinese takeaway.
Ooh.
It's not a meal. That's a bit scandalous. That.
Oh, that is a meal.
What,
Unless
egg
I
fried
say
rice?
what's on my Chinese takeaway order.
Sweet and sour chicken balls.
Yes.
Egg fried rice.
I'm not much of a rice person.
Noodles.
Crispy beef.
Yes.
Spring rolls.
No.
No. Do you like sesame prawn toast?
No.
Damn, I started well and it's just gone downhill. What do you get
So
then?
you were on the right track. Sweet and sour chicken balls, Singapore chow mein. Boring now, though. Plain chips.
Oh, okay. That's not. Yeah, okay.
And honey chili prawns.
Honey
Pull it
what?
back a little bit.
Honey chili prawns.
I've not had them, you know.
Oh,
That's like sweet chili.
Yeah.
Everyone listening is just going to be really hungry now.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
So, next question. A trolley is travelling down a track, heading towards one person. You have the option to pull the lever and switch it to a different track where it would hit another person. Would you do it? But the catch is, the person it's heading towards currently is an English person, and on the other track that you would switch it to is a Scottish person.
I'm going to have to go for the Englishman.
You're going to leave it. You had the chance to save them, and you're just going to let them die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but only on the basis that was what fate was doing anyway, so she's not intervening, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, if you say so. To be fair, so while we're recording this, tonight is the first game of the Six Nations. So that's why it was in my mind.
Why didn't you do France?
I should have done France. Should have done France, Wales. Well, you would have killed them. You would have killed them anyway. So
I would have.
I think we all agree on that one.
So next question: would you rather £1 million up front, or a chance at £10 million if you can beat a giraffe in a fight?
Well, the 1 million up front, because I'm never going to win against a giraffe. Do I get tools, or am I going in just fists?
How would you prep for it? You can't say gun or missile.
Maybe a rounder's bat.
Rounder's bat, yeah. You only get a rounder's bat.
And a glove.
I go for the million because I don't like hurting animals for starters, and 2, I just wouldn't win anyway.
Fair enough. That's a good answer. Would you rather have robotic arms or robotic legs?
Robotic legs. I don't like running as it is, so I feel like if I had robotic legs, I'd barely feel the pain.
Yeah. And you could jump to block the
Yes, I
block the
could
shooters. There you go.
extend them.
Right. So a little less weird now, I think. Would you rather negotiate with 1 head of procurement or 10 junior buyers?
Oh. 1 head of procurement. It's less work.
Yeah, finding that most people going for that option. And then last question is, what animal do you think would be best in procurement and why?
Best. I think like a dolphin or something, or a kitten, because they're just too cute and you just want to agree with them.
Really?
Yeah.
You've not met the private sector procurement folk, have you?
That's
We're
my
horrible.
public sector hat on.
Yeah. What's the animal behind you?
That is a sheep.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was a pig or a sheep.
Oh, that is a sheep. Not that the viewers can see, but
No, it's quite cute, that. Yeah, I like
Is
that.
it it looks like I was going to say piggy bank, but sheep
no,
bank.
it's not. So, funny story. I don't know if you're going to cut this out or not. It was actually my grandparents, and I just realised I said viewers, not listeners. Sorry. So this was my grandparents, and when a few months before my nan was going to pass, sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that bit, but the story is funny. I think it was this or this. Sorry, I'm holding a chicken now.
She's holding a giant cock in her right hand and a sheep in her left, just for the listeners.
Knew you were going to say that.
One of these were on my nan's shelf, and she was going a bit doolally before she passed, and she turned to my mum to say, "It's staring at me." And my mum was like, "What? What's staring at you?" She went, "There's a camera in the chicken's bum on about this." So she thought like someone was watching her through this.
Through the chickens.
So when I look at him, I just laugh now.
Do you ever get paranoid that there is a camera in the chicken's rear?
Well, no, but now you've said, yeah, I probably will.
Maybe she was right the whole time.
She could be. She was quite smart, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, Loren. Thank you for sharing that little insight and for putting up with Luke's weird and wonderful questions. They get a bit stranger every time, and I think that the main thing is just to kind of answer with what comes to your mind as opposed to deepen it too much.
Yeah.
But look, I'm really excited to have you here, to be fair, because Luke did tell me that you had a procurement degree. He did mention it earlier as well. And
two procurement degrees. So I've got an undergraduate degree and a master's.
So good you did it twice.
I think I've just kind of fallen into the industry now, so I thought, why not just go deeper?
So hang on. Did you, let's just say you finished school or sixth form or whatever it is, and then you just went, I'm going to go to uni. Let's have a look at what's out there. And we went maths, history, English, maybe economics, maybe, I don't know, procurement.
Psychology.
Yeah, that was good.
Media.
Psychology.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, wait, procurement?
No, I didn't quite fall into it that way, but I did fall into procurement in regards to when I left school. I was kind of sat down with my mum thinking, oh my God, everyone's going to university. I haven't got a clue what I want to do. So we kind of looked at some university courses online and seen the business management was there. And I thought, quite broad, can kind of go into not any industry, but it kind of opens a lot more doors than if I was to go into a sort of niche area. So applied for business management, got in, but the course was kind of set out in regards to 7 or 8 different modules. So the modules were, and I've got them by here, like I said earlier, because I couldn't remember. So there was supply chain management, marketing, business skills, HR, accounting, and economics.
Okay.
So hated economics because I was rubbish at math. HR wasn't for me because I'm not a people person. Economics, didn't really enjoy that too much. business skills wasn't too bad. Marketing, again, I'm not a people person, so it wasn't for me. So it kind of landed me down with supply chain management. So didn't go too much into depth in year one with it, but it kind of touched upon like supply and demand, logistics. And when you went into second year, you had the option to either do business management within those modules as your full second year, or you could delve in deeper to one of those individual modules, which is where I kind of thought, oh, I didn't really enjoy any of the other modules. So I delved into supply chain management, which is when procurement become a bit more prevalent within years 2 and 3 then.
Yeah.
But so because I delved into supply chain management, my course title changed. So it was logistics and supply chain management then, which was my course, which kind of delved into commercial procurement, logistics, research methods, strategic sourcing, retail supply chain. And after the second year, we had the option to do what was called a sandwich year, which was you go into industry for a year, which could have been private sector, public sector, and you got paid to do it as well. So you'd have like a kind of apprentice internship fee over the year.
Did you do that?
And I did that. So that's when I started in public sector, and me and my friend managed to get the same job together.
So good.
So that was really good. We really enjoyed it, and we were lucky enough to be kept on during our third year, but part-time. So we job shared one position. So she would do like the first half of the week, and then because she'd done more or less done all the work, I'd come in at the end of the week and I'd have nothing to do. So then it would just be this vicious cycle where Beck would be doing all the work and I would just be coming in being like, oh well, she's done everything. But,
and you got paid?
And I got paid. But yeah, so third year then we'd be doing our job share while doing our dissertation and the last few of the modules. But this is where SIPS come into it then. So I think we only found out about SIPS in year 2 or 3. And the word was kind of thrown at us to say, oh yeah, you get SIPS as part of this degree. And everyone kind of just like looks around like, yeah, cool. What's that?
So do you get your full SIPS for doing the degree? Or did you get like a level 4 or level 5 or?
We got the full SIPS. So because of the sandwich year,
yeah,
by the time we left and graduated, we would have got MCIPS.
Wow. So are you Loren MCIPS?
Yep.
Oh, I love it. I love it. How does that feel, Luke?
Without even realising I got SIPS.
So you got it without realising, and then Luke Ten's just struggling every day to try and string a sentence together for his
grinding
essays.
every day with my assignments, yeah.
Wow.
So you said then you did a master's after that as well?
Yeah.
After MCIPS?
Yeah. So my master's is in strategic procurement, which I don't know if you're gonna have to cut a bit of this out now because like this bit can be cut out, but I'll repeat it. So I don't think I learned as much in my master's because I think a lot of it was similar to the undergrad bit. So
I'm going to back you up a little bit there, because when you do level 6 SIPS, if you're doing like the exam routes or the assignment routes, that's all about like the strategic thinking and the kind of top-down view.
Yeah.
But it sounds really weird, but the top-down view is always a bit more like wishy-washy. It's a bit more high level, like we don't want to go into the detail too much. So actually in terms of like knowledge and skills, it's not really that, but it's to get you thinking like a director, so you can just kind of go, oh yeah, there's global challenges, or there's upcoming markets we can leverage and things like that.
But I can't even remember what I did for my modules in my masters, and I think I did it 3 years ago now. But it's just nice to have under your belt, because people within the kind of procurement industry now start looking for these type of things to decipher the kind of people when they're interviewing.
Well, I like it because it says you've always wanted to do procurement, even though you've said that wasn't necessarily true. It looks
Yes.
like you've kind of gone straight out of work, straight out of school, and thought, I'm going to be the best supply chain person in the world
Yes.
because that's my
And
passion.
I'm probably the worst in public sector to do it as well, because I'm always running to Beck, who I did the sandwich year with. So we did the sandwich year together. I went to private for a year or two. She got a promotion in another public sector department. So then I followed her to that job, and she's way better at her job than I am, and I've got a master's.
Why do you think she's better?
Her brain is like a sponge, literally. She could probably do my master's in a week and know more than me.
It's an interesting one. You're probably not. She's probably not better than, or not as better than you as you think she is, sort of thing.
Oh no, she 100%. I would bet my house on it. Sorry, Ross. Be homeless, but no, I would bet my house on it.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but we know.
Luke's
Having-
with it.
Having met Beck as well, I don't know. She is very knowledgeable. Like, she knows the answer to everything. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
how did you know that?
She's
But there
going to
are
be
other
listening to
skills.
this, and her head's just going to be going.
Yeah. Big-headed Beth or Beck?
Beck.
Bex. Big-headed Bex. Yeah, we don't want that. We need to put a pin in that and bring her back down to reality.
Sorry, Beck.
Yeah. Maybe she hasn't got any other skills. Maybe she's not a people person, or she can't.
She is the nicest person you will ever meet as well.
Of course. Well, Luke, to
She's
be
the
honest, why
full
didn't you get her on the
package.
pod?
Yeah.
I was about to
I
say
did-
that. Yeah.
I did tell Luke.
Yeah, that was yesterday. It was a bit too late notice. Otherwise, would have cancelled Loren.
Yeah. Who needs me?
God, you're really a natural at this, Luke. Okay, so the kind of qualifications you've gone into work and obviously like developing your career. Are you happy that you chose the university route? I know you don't know anything else, but do you think you could have perhaps gone straight from school into like a career and then maybe done your SIPs a different way? Or do you think that this gives you an advantage?
I enjoyed the way I did it because, like I said prior, I didn't even realise I was getting the degree. And I think I was learning more than just the procurement side of things. So like I said, I was learning about logistics, which could have been a kind of industry I delved into. And secondly, I think a lot of my colleagues have been doing SIPs alongside their full-time job.
Yeah.
Which I can see stresses some of them out. Like some of them got families, to do like assignments and revision after work on the weekends. And I know you get some sort of like not time off or
Depends on the company, to be fair.
study leave. Yeah, like study leave sometimes. But I don't know, like I was doing it in a kind of university environment, so I was learning in that environment anyway. So I think I would have rather have done it all at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then delved into the actual doing, because I was saying this to Beck the other week when we were kind of learning about procurement and whatnot in second year. I still didn't really understand what it was. So until I did that sandwich year, I was starting to piece bits together. I remember coming home, because obviously I still lived with my parents at the time, a good month or two into my sandwich year. And my mother turned around to me and said, "Do you actually know what you're doing? Like, do you know what your job is?" And I was like, "No, I actually don't." And it's
That's
one of
me.
those, like, if someone asked you, like, "Oh, what is procurement? Like, what do you do?" Sometimes it's hard to say. So, like, when we get new starters in public sector, I kind of word it in the sense that, like, oh, I just think of myself as like a personal shopper for people. Like, they ask me what, or they tell me what they want, and I try and get the best deal.
Fair enough. We always have a laugh about that because one of the things around the frustration that I have in procurement is when people hear that you're in procurement, they go, "Oh, so you buy things," and that really upsets me because I'm like, we do so much more than just buying things. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
but I
we
think
don't
if
go
you're
on
talking
Amazon.
to someone who hasn't got a clue what it is, sometimes it's good to start with the basics. Like, and
Yeah.
and I'll tell people that, like, especially if they like interviewing for a role, so especially like apprentices who have never heard of the word procurement, like, saying in that form, they can make up their own assumptions then, and then once they've got the job and they delve in a bit deeper, they can see the cycle and how they slot in. And like you said, like it's just a lot more than buy-in, so they can see that from the cycle and the different roles and responsibilities that they'd have to get that contract in place.
So we have a episode. One of our first episodes was what is procurement. So maybe it should be like required reading or required listening for anyone going for a job.
You see where we go. So do you do interviews then? You kind of mentioned. Okay, what's a good question that you like to ask in an interview?
Oh, so we did a kind of informal interview a couple of months back because it was an EOI, so an expression of interest for someone internal to come into the role for 9 to 12 months while we try and do a permanent recruitment in the background. I'm trying to think of the questions we asked now. Obviously with public sector we can't stray too far from the behaviours too much, but I don't think it's too much of a question we like to ask, because again, like the interviews I've done are people who just haven't got a clue what procurement even would be.
Yeah.
So like
sort
when
of
we
entry level.
Again, dragging Beck into this. When me and Beck did the interviews, we kind of just like not firm with them, but we just kind of set the scene like, look, this isn't a role you're going to pick up in 6 to 9 months, so it's going to be a lot of like self-development, self-learning, like a lot on the job training. But I think I'd rather be a bit more upfront with them than not doolally, but saying, oh yeah, like you're going to smash this role when you come into it, like you're going to know all the regulations, all the roles and responsibilities within the first month. I think it's just setting the scene for them.
So let me flip it a little bit. What's a good response that you see from candidates? Obviously, like any generic question, but like what makes you think, yeah, you're a good apprentice or a good
someone who's proactive, especially in public sector where there can be so much red tape, so much process. Like at the minute in our roles, we're nearly like 45% understaffed in just our department in digital.
45%?
Yeah.
How are you getting your day job done? Or are you doing like 4-day jobs at
But
once?
This is the issue. So when we are interviewing people, we want someone proactive. So like I said, like we're not expecting everyone to know the ins and outs from day dot, but kind of do some initiative, do some research on the internet or on the guidance that's out there. And my manager would always say, like, she's more than happy to like help me with any issues, but lately she's been saying, don't come with me with a problem, come to me with the problem, your two scenarios that you think would be best suited to address that. So yeah, definitely being proactive in this role would get you very far.
Fair enough. You taking notes there, Luke?
Yeah, just committing that to memory. Yeah.
What about turning up late to interviews? Is that a good thing?
Oh, did Luke turn up late? Is that what you're saying?
He just turned up late to every meeting that we ever have. That's all.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I turn up on time, but sometimes underprepared. I will give you that. Sometimes I need to work on my pre-meeting preparation.
Sometimes, yeah. Okay, right. So you mentioned as well dissertation. Do you remember what your dissertation was?
Which one? Actually, no. I think they were both on social value.
Really? Do you do that in your role?
Yeah. So again, sorry, Beck. Me and Beck are social value leads in our organisation.
So how does that tie into the procurement aspects of it?
So when we're doing our evaluations in line with the CCIAF, I don't know if that ties in my organisation, but you can cut that out if not. But in line with the CCIAF, don't quote me on what it means. Continuous.
I was about to say, I don't know what WTF
continuous
that
improvement, means. something. Basically, you need a social value lead to evaluate alongside the normal evaluators of the requirement. Okay. So you're kind of like the social value lead and kind of guide not guide, that's definitely the wrong word. So say now, like the technical evaluators, they've obviously got all the knowledge about the actual requirement. They're not going to have too much involvement or understanding of the social value aspect of it and how that helps push the contract after it's been awarded. So that social value lead is there to kind of, I don't like the word guide because that's not a good word to use in an evaluation, especially in public sector, but makes them more aware of what's important when it comes to social value.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
do you do the scoring, or do other people do the scoring and you tell them what they can and can't consider?
So everyone, even the technical evaluators alongside the social value lead, would evaluate and score. But that social value lead is there to kind of just say, oh, well, you haven't considered this and this. Because obviously sometimes if you're asking a certain question and you've listed everything you want them to address, and you know, sometimes like the technical people would be like, oh, well, I want the cheapest deal, I want this, I want that, and it's just kind of bringing them back to earth, basically.
I mean, that's the idea of what we do, isn't it? It's trying to get like a balanced scorecard approach where you just want people to be not. It's hard to say impartial is the word we aim for, but I think someone technical will always favour technical responses that kind of hit their little buzz, and you know, a procurement person will look at the pricing. That's probably the first starting point, and the social value lead will look at the social value stuff, and it's just about tying all that together. So I can appreciate that. What's social value in terms of like percentages? Is it like 10% of your score? Is that like a minimum thing in public sector?
Yeah, 10% is the minimum. But like you'd be surprised how often it increases, again, like depending on what the requirement is and how important you think it would be past contract award.
I always wonder if it'll get to the stage where like it's equal weighting with price and the actual solution.
I don't think it ever get to that point, potentially, but I can't see that happening.
What type of things do get asked? Is it kind of about environmental sustainability only, or a bit of social and a bit
like
of
in
economic?
digital now, they've kind of mandated for us to use the award criteria of 2.2, which is employment. So I think because digital is such a fast-paced environment, I think it's kind of a lot of job shortages at the minute because we can't keep up with the demand. So we kind of focus on that in the digital space at the minute, getting more people in, like upskilling, especially in like more deprived areas.
There's a lot of deprivation. Surprisingly, like the actual amount of people where kids don't have access to laptops at home or things that we take for granted.
Exactly.
And actually, if you can bring them out of their kind of situation or give them the skills that they need, they'll probably be more than willing to invest the time and then hopefully enter the workplace. So it's a very positive impact on the overall contract if you can get it working.
100%. And that's where like your KPIs kick in then as well, like making sure you've got KPIs tailored to your social value asks.
How do you feel about AI?
It's scary. It is really scary in regards to the one, I don't fully understand it and how it works.
Nobody does.
And two, it always reminds me of that meme where it says, I'm going to lose my job. Like, it's just robots are going to take over the world. I'm not going to be needed anymore.
I think it's interesting because like we had an AI guy on and he was saying it's all about like complementing people in their roles and helping enhance their productivity. But then I also see the other side of it where if you are process driven, where you said, for example, as a buyer, there's a lot of things were like routine or like you were doing quite often. AI is perfect for automating those routine things.
Yeah.
And then you start to go, well, if they can automate 50% of my job, why would they pay me like to come in 5 days a week?
I think it would complement the admin side of this role a lot, especially like when maybe it comes to like e-tendering tools. But the actual doing and putting that kind of strategic hat on, I don't think it'd ever take over that element.
Yeah. Because people want to talk to another person.
Yeah.
What if you got two AIs talking to each other?
I don't
Well,
know. They might just fight it out.
We're just screwed at that point, aren't we? If we just got AI running everything, but I don't think it'll get to that. I think it's just about onboarding it and stuff. But definitely being careful with tender responses where people have slipped in AI as a kind of, I guess, way of reducing the cost and improving their solution. And then you think, what's that AI doing with all our information?
Yeah, so to not to mitigate it, but to make ourselves aware if suppliers are using it, we actually ask the question now during the qualification stage to say, have you used AI in your bid? If so, where? Like, we're not saying they can't use it, but if they're going to use it, if they're going to use AI to develop their own technical answers or responses to our questions, they just need to be aware of what AI has churned out and if they can actually meet what they've said they can do now. So there's no point then saying, we can deliver 1 million laptops, and actually they haven't even got stock of 1 million laptops, because you'd be surprised if they don't actually read what AI churns out half the time.
Oh yeah.
I knew someone when he was in uni, and I promise this isn't one of those fake stories. It's actually about me. But he was he was in uni, and he had a day until his submission of this essay he needed to do. So he just put the question into AI, and then copied and pasted the answer into a document and sent it off. But he forgot to take out the part at the start that said, "Sure, I can help you with that." So so immediately he just got a fail on that assignment.
That's incredible. I feel like that guy doesn't deserve a job. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just stupidity.
No.
Like, what's he bringing to the table? I really like the idea of a procurement degree. I'm not going to go back and do one, but I'm just like, it's really like made me happy. Is that sad? It's made me happy that they exist.
And there's people doing them.
It's the easy road. I feel like it's way easier than doing about 3-4 modules of SIPS.
But the tough part from my perspective would be convincing how old are you when you go to uni? 18? 17? 18?
Yeah, 18, 19.
Yeah, convincing an 18, 19-year-old that procurement is, a career, that it is a thing, because all they've known up until that point is, like you said, business is the kind of buzzword, isn't it? It's business, maybe economics, maybe accountancy, but procurement is not.
Which is why I think that business management degree is a really good start point to touch base and like dip your toe in all the different types of areas you could potentially get into. Like supply chain was definitely the most interesting out of all of them for me.
I actually did a degree in economics, so when you said it was boring maths, I was like, oh yeah.
Right. I hated it.
It's weird because when you dive deeper into it, you can separate, like you said with all the modules, you can kind of move away from the math side of things, which is kind of what I did. I preferred the economics of like people, but
because the economic side of it relates to like supply and demand as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, supply and demand's huge in economics, but
maybe that's what we can do with the podcast, is we can glamorize procurement enough that 18-year-olds want to it's almost like being a footballer. Maybe we need to live stream some negotiations, or contract redlining on a live stream, and jazz it up a little bit.
Not who would watch that, to be honest.
Don't worry about confidentiality.
Literally like watching paint dry.
I think negotiations could be a good thing to live stream, but obviously you'd have to make everyone that watched signed an NDA, which could be a bit difficult.
Yeah, a bit problematic.
You'd be giving away your secrets then, though, as well.
What's your go-to negotiation tactic?
I've only negotiated once.
No, bullshit.
I'm dead to see that, and it was last year.
No. Yeah, okay, that might be like a formal negotiation, but you are always negotiating, whether it's with your boss for a pay rise, whether it's with, your partner about dinner, like anything. Negotiations are everywhere.
Oh, I'm good at giving silent treatment. Maybe it's that.
To be fair, that works.
Yeah, when you're sat in a room, if you just say nothing, then people feel like they need to talk, don't they? They need to concede and dig themselves a hole.
Genuinely, in my previous role, there was this guy who was a customer. So I was customer facing, and whenever he had an issue, he would call up, and I'd dread it. I'd absolutely dread it. He'd know the number, and he'd call me and he'd be like, "So what's the problem?"
You.
And I'm not even like it felt like 10-15 minutes of silence, and it would be all the time. So it'd be like, "When can you get me that report, Luke?" And even doing that for 5 seconds now is giving me like a flashback of absolute horror. And every single time now, looking back at it, I can go, I probably gave him way too much than I needed to in terms of information. Like, he'd say, "When can you get the report?" And I'd probably go, "Friday, does that sound good?" Knowing this is a Monday, and he'd still be silent. So I'd go, "Okay, maybe Thursday. How about tomorrow?" And I'm so uncomfortable. I just wanted to like get out of it, and it was a horrible tactic, honestly. Horrible.
There you go, and that's my tactic, the silent treatment.
Love it, absolutely love it. Well, I think look, this has been a really interesting sesh. Thank you for bearing with and putting up.
Okay.
Any words of wisdom for our listeners?
No, I'm not. No.
No,
So I'll just say something wrong or say something stupid. So no, I'm gonna influence my silent treatment here.
Maybe your words of wisdom could be, make sure there's no hidden cameras in any chickens' asses.
Definitely, that's a good part in word to go on. You might need subtitles for this. I don't know if everyone's going to understand my Valley's accent.
Oh, we could do the. You get like a little thing that tries to turn into a script, and see what that churns out. But that always looks bad on us because of the stuff that comes out of our mouth anyway. So we tend not to do that. Transcripts. But no, look, thank you. You've been a great guest. Hopefully, the listeners have learned something. Now they're all raring to sign up for a procurement degree.
USOO.
And I think if they've got any questions, can we reach out to you and ask you those questions in a future?
If I can answer them, yes. If not, you're blocked.
If not, then silent treatment. Yeah.
Fair enough. So basically, we may speak again, or we may never ever speak again.
Yeah. We say back in our job, if it's a Monday question, don't ask it. If it's a Friday question, which is an easy question, you're allowed to ask it.
Like that.
That's
like
a word
that
of wisdom,
concept.
isn't it? That's a word.
There you go.
Wise, yeah. Brilliant. All right, well. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
for
Loren.
having me.